What is happening, everyone? This is GBall, and I have a crazy popular knife here to unbox for you, coming in from Kizer. It's going to be out of their Bladesmith series, and it was actually released, I think, about 2 months ago. And Blade HQ, Kizer's website, they pretty much sold out of every single knife, and it's only recently that they've been coming back in stock, both on Blade HQ and Kizer's website. And the knife I am talking about is the Coywolf. It is a D. Sharon design. Like I said, the morning or the night that these were released, Kizer sold out of both versions pretty much instantly. And then a few days later, Blade HQ got them in and pretty much sold out of both versions within a few hours of releasing them. So I was never able to actually get a video out on this fella. It is going to come in 2 different versions. You have the VG10 Damascus, which we don't see from Kizer a whole lot. And then they're also doing a satin finish version in S45VN. They are going to have different colored titaniums and different carbon fibers between the 2 knives. It is going to be a standard bolster lock, thumb studs, and a front flipper for the deployment, and that detent feels nice and strong. D. Sharon, if I didn't say, is one of our favorite designers here on the channel. He is a G-baller through and through. Shout out to D. Sharon. This is an excellent looking gentleman's knife in my opinion. Love the marbled carbon fiber with the heavy washed titanium handle and then a matching pocket clip. Open construction with 1 standoff here on the butt end, and I do like this Damascus aesthetic. It looks really cool. If you're really into getting performance from your blade, then sure, go with the S45VN. That version is available. If you want something that has a little bit more flair and flash to it, then by all means, get the VG10 Damascus. It's going to have good performance, pretty tough stuff, very corrosion resistant, and it's got decent edge retention to it as well. Now, for the retail price, the S45VN version is going to come in at $139, and the VG10 Damascus is going to be coming in at $129. So very fair pricing for the materials you're looking at. We'll go ahead and get a measurement on this fella. It's not a huge knife, but it's not small either. About 7 1/4 overall, 3 inches of cutting edge, and we'll call it 3 3/16 of total blade. And to give you a better idea on its size, I have a couple of comparison knives here for you. The Spyderco Para 3 up top there, and the PM2 on the bottom, and it's much more in line with something like the Para 3. And 2 more up top, the Benchmade Bug Out, and on the bottom, the Kershaw Bel Air XL. And the Bel Air XL is going to be a little bit longer on both ends. Here again, the Bug Out going to be very fair in its size. We'll grab the 50 Ways Baked In GBall Vision Hank here and get a look at this pocket clip. I like the little off angle the pocket clip comes to. That'll help get this over seams a lot easier. Just gives it a little bit of a direction. And then it looks like there is plenty of clearance underneath there to get this even in a little bit thicker seams. You will have a little bit poking out of the pocket, and as many of you know, that is something I prefer. About a 1/4 inch there or so, and that gives you a nice place to grab a hold of the knife and actually get it out of the pocket. Now, I do understand there's a time and place for deep carry, but in most cases, I would rather have quick, easy access to the knife than to fully try to conceal it, because where I live, no matter what, a pocket clip seen in a pocket just tells everyone you have a pocket knife anyway, and nobody cares. So it's not something I really have to be concerned with in my neck of the woods. However, I have a couple hundred knives that use a deep carry clip, and I carry them often. But as far as what I prefer on a day-to-day basis or a daily cutter, that is the go-to sweet spot for me right there. It is going to be right-hand carry only. We're not going to have any lefty love on this particular design. We will get the arch nemesis out here and give this bad boy a weight check. I like to play a little game here on the channel where I attempt to guess the weight, and I always invite you to play along. You put your guess down in the comments, ounces or grams, whichever you prefer. Even if you already have a comment down there, go ahead and put your guess. And if you're enjoying this video, you like knives and gear, you're in the right place. Make sure you're subscribed here to the channel and ring that bell. I'm going to give it a go, and I'm going to say, I feel like this is right at like a 3.3, 3.4. is where it's where my mind is taking me. I'm gonna say that it feels like a 3.4. I'm gonna stick with it. Lock it in. 3.4. Oh! Oh, I got smoked. Damn. That's pretty bad right there. 0.8 is unacceptable. And, you know, I'm going to leave it in the video just because I'm a thorough mofo. But that's one of the worst guesses I've probably ever had. 74 grams and 2.6 ounces. Not quite the worst. We've had some knives that are very heavy, and those can be pretty hard to judge. So probably not the worst guess that I've ever had, but for a knife like this, that is easily one of the worst guesses that I've put out there. I don't know why I feel like that, but even knowing that it's 2.5, I still feel like it has maybe not 3.4, but like a 3 ounce at least. So this is considerably a lightweight knife here. I guess looking at the construction, how the hell? This is a really cool construction, and how this knife is saving on its weight. We'll get the calipers out and get a couple of measurements on our handle and blade. We'll start off with the handle thickness. Calipers let us get a good measurement on the handle and blade. These are usually a 0.45 to a 0.5 average, and we're going to see that here with a 0.43, so fairly thin. And 11.1 millimeters. Blade stock is coming in at a 2.75 millimeters. 108 thousandths. So that's pretty thin for a blade stock. Let's see what we're looking at for our BTE measurement here. Typically we see 22 to 25 thousandths on an average. I'm a little high there. So about 26 thousandths in that particular spot with that particular hold. Let's see how this bad boy cuts out of the box. And for that, we're going to use our catalog paper here. Drop point like this, very versatile, pokey, piercy, and very slicey. So I am a big fan of drop points. I always say it's not a bad idea to have maybe a drop point or a Tanto in your pocket, and then some sort of Wharncliffe or sheep's foot. And with those two various blade shapes, you can cover a lot of ground, at least in my opinion. That's one thing I've stuck with a lot, especially when I was still in the trades. I often kept a sheep's foot or Wharncliffe, and then a Tanto or drop point, maybe a clip point of some kind. But, you know, that versatility is hard to match. Good edge on this feller. I already talked about the performance of like a VG10. It's going to be very adequate. And if you're buying this as a true gentleman's knife, it's not going to see a ton of use, or it's going to see occasional use. This VG10 Damascus is going to be just fine. Even if you intended on using this as a daily cutter, it's going to do just fine. As far as our hardware goes, we are looking at T8 on the body, non-told pivot. I like the look of that. And then for the pocket clip, it is going to be T6. Going to guess that he didn't have any other option than to do T6 there. Otherwise, I think he would have done T8. And then and then the pivot is going to be a T8. Everything felt nice and tight. This bad boy is perfectly centered up. We didn't really talk about that front flipper, but that is excellent execution. It has a nice height over top of the handle and a good distance from the pivot there. It is jimped perfectly, and the detent is rock solid. So that is a recipe for really good front flipper action. No question about it. The thumb rollover, that is perfect for this. You could easily do an index rollover and an over the top if your little heart desires. As long as you stay off that lock bar, you're going to be in good shape here. Takes a little bit of practice to get the hang of the over the top. As far as any front flipper goes, any type of deployment with the front flipper goes, it takes a little bit of practice. And I gotta say that I have not always been a fan of front flippers. 5 or 6 or 7 years ago when I tried my first one, I was not a big fan of it, right? And it was a good front flipper. It was the Imperium from Civivi. Really good front flipper, but I just was not good at it. Didn't quite understand the mechanics of it and all that sort of thing. But once you quit thinking about it so much and just let it flow, it becomes very easy. A lot of it boils down to the dexterity in your hand, a little bit of extra hand strength, and you're going to be in good shape when it comes to the deployments. Thumb studs are placed well, and I think they are designed well. Easy to get to that reverse flick, and then the thumb flick is absolute money. Sharpening choil looks good from my house. You experts out there will have to let me know. Great access to the lock bar there as well. Very easy to get to that and disengage. Last thing we have to do here is introduce the Coywolf to the spine whacker. And we will do that in about 15 minutes. Just kidding, we'll do that right now. We'll open this up and give it a couple of tugs side to side, up and down. And I don't feel any movement in there, side to side or up and down. Locked up like a vault, we could say. As far as our lockup goes, I would say that's about 50%, which would be a nice, healthy lockup. I typically like to see 40 to 50%. That just gives the knife a really good chance and plenty of room to break in. Let's go ahead and give this a light little tap out towards the tip, just to get us going. We have had knives fail in the past just from such a simple tap. Close it and check it. Go to a good shot there in the middle, close it and check it. It sounds pretty good. This isn't a robust folder, you know, not something you want to take out and baton through a log or anything like that. But we do want it to have a good positive lockup if it meets a little bit of adversity. And I think this one is going to be just fine. Typically with Kizer's frame locks and liner locks, don't have an issue, never been a question. Some of the boutique locks are bound to go through troubles as you go through various designs and so on and so forth. But it's like I always tell you guys, it's how the company handles any type of issue that really matters, because everyone is going to go through something at some point in time, and how do they respond is what matters to me. That'll wrap this one up, ladies and gentlemen. You'll have to let me know, what do you think of the Kizer Coywolf here from D. Sharon? I like this bad boy. I do think the S45 VN version looks awesome as well. But I gotta say, after getting this particular one in my hand, I think I like the aesthetics of this one just a little bit more. That's just me personally, though. You'll have to let me know which one you would go with. I look forward to hearing from you. I will have links to Kizer and Blade HQ down in the description over to the Coywolf, since they are back in stock. That is great to see. Do me a solid and hit that thumbs up button. It helps push the video to more people, and I truly appreciate it. If you want to see more dope knife and EDC content on the daily just like this, make sure you're subscribed here to the channel and ring that bell. I'll pop up a couple of new videos you haven't seen yet. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next one.